tell you how much this means to me. Thank you, Annette.
Now Nate can study all the guards' formations.
Not so fast, Sugar Bear. You gotta earn them. Woo! We only got 15 minutes, but sunshine, we're gonna make them all count.
Stopped into a church. I passed along the way. Well, I got down on my knees and I began to pray. You know the preacher likes the crow. He knows I'm gonna stay. California dreaming on such a winter's day. La da 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 da. La da 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 da.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of What the Hell Happened to Them? The Rockcast continues. Dwayne The Rock Johnson marches on with me and my co-host, Yoga Joe Vekeman.
Nice to see you.
And of course, we have Lev Van Rensselaer on the audio boards, and he would be remiss if we did not mention this week's sponsor, Bricks. Overlooked, but definitely necessary in a lot of things. Bricks, the hidden hero. All right, Joe. What movie are we doing this week?
San Andreas, 2015, San Andreas.
Yes, that is a movie that came out. And before we go into the plot synopsis of that, let's take a brief moment to talk about an old Adam Sandler alum. You may remember her from such movies as The Week Of and the remake of What's that prison football movie he's in?
Oh, The Longest Yard.
The
but you're
Longest
also
Yard.
playing best role in one of his movies, Spanglish.
Yes.
I don't know.
The great Cloris leachman sadly has passed away earlier this week. She
94.
died at the age of 94. She won 8 Emmys. The most, tied for the most with another great comedian, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She got her first role in Kiss Me Deadly. Remember that movie, Joe?
Great movie.
Great
H-bomb.
movie. She was also in a Rod Serling show called The Rack. She played the mother on Lassie.
Oh.
Probably her most famous film role was Peter Bogdanovich's The Last Picture Show. But of course, how could we forget her in the role of Phyllis in the Mary Tyler Moore Show, for which she even got her own spin-off that lasted for 3 years. She started off as a Miss America pageant contest after being a college dropout, and then that ended up getting her roles in all these films, and then she found Phyllis on TV. She, of course, later won some Emmys for being a guest star on Malcolm in the Middle twice.
Oh, wasn't she the grandma?
Yes, indeed. Yeah,
She was great in that. I forgot about that.
Yep. Her last kind of continuous show role was on a show called Raising Hope, which was okay, but she was a delight in it. So we are sad to see her go, but she leaves behind a great legacy for all of us. I wonder if Adam Sandler will make any statements. Joe, keep on Sandler watch for that.
Oh, he did.
Oh, yeah? Is that how you found out?
No, but I saw that.
What did he say?
He said something. Okay, hold on. I'll look it up. Van for me, yeah.
She also, how could I forget, became a Mel Brooks regular after appearing in Young Frankenstein. She, of course, later showed up in High Anxiety and History of the World, Part 1. She later reappeared in 2 other Bogdanovich films, Daisy Miller and Texasville.
Yeah, Adam Sandler tweeted out, Cloris Leachman, a true legend, one of the funniest of all time, and such a great lady. Loved her. Will be missed terribly and such a good family. Sending love to all. R.I.P. There's a nice picture of her holding his head in Spanglish.
I did forget she was in Spanglish. I feel bad. Well, I don't feel that bad. It's a forgettable movie.
Yeah, it's not too much.
But I bet that was something I brought up in the episode. Oh, yeah, Cloris Leachman. So, Cloris Leachman, we will miss you, but you do leave behind a very strong legacy of laughter. All right, Joe, tell me, what is the plot synopsis of San Andreas?
Let me just tell you, that was very beautiful. Nice tribute for her.
Well, she's earned it. She's been a big part of my life. I grew up on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, so she was just always in the household.
Yeah.
And her role in The Last Picture Show is fantastic. It's surprising how good she can, I don't know, play these other modes other than just funny old lady.
That's great. All right. San Andreas. In the aftermath of a massive earthquake in California, a rescue chopper pilot makes a dangerous journey with his ex-wife across the state in order to rescue his daughter. You know why they couldn't call this movie Earthquake? Because they already made a movie called Earthquake. They should just call this like, it's happening.
I liked your text description that you sent me while we were watching the movie, where it was just like earthquake equals bad, family equals good. That's pretty much is the point of the movie.
Yeah. Do you want to know how much money this fucking movie made? Holy
Can't
crap.
be that much. It's got to be like, it's like maybe like 320 million, something like that. More?
So it was made on a $110 million budget, and I'd like to ask you, where is it? There is so much green screen in this movie, and I'm like, did they just shoot this on a computer?
Well, yeah,
like,
Joe, all that computer money takes up a lot.
It looks like shit.
Of course it looks like shit. It's been 6 years.
Okay, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
There's a little movie called The Terminator.
Yeah, that movie's not relying on computer-generated stuff, Joe.
There's so many good practical effects.
Yes.
And then, better yet, here's a better example. Because, Terminator's a lot of practical. Terminator 2 uses a lot of CGI with the liquid Terminator.
But again,
looks
not
great, though.
Not
Looks
really
so
a
good.
lot, though. That's the thing. Like, it's very small, and there are elements of practical effects in there, too. Like, this is the benefit of not going ham on these computer-generated graphics. Your movie can look great, 4 or 5 years later. You're not dating yourself.
We should have actually, if I knew how much, I've seen this too. I don't know why I didn't suggest this. We should have watched the Earthquake movie and seen how that was, because I'd like to see a more practical without all the computer crap in it and see what they would have done. Because, oh my, every time they were like, a building's falling down. I'm like, use a model. Just do something. Give me something to that looks like you can feel it. I thought this was all really hard to watch. $110 million budget, domestically made 155 worldwide. We're finding out how big of a worldwide box office draw this guy is.
Yeah.
$473 million. Holy crap.
Is way more than I was expecting. For a movie, that feels to me like who would care enough to go see? People just want to see The Rock save the day? Is that what we're talking about here?
Save his daughter, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
This one I actually remember trailers coming out for. I don't remember. All I remember was that there was an earthquake. I would not have been able to guess that he was trying to save his daughter. I just thought The Rock is helping people in an earthquake. And basically, he's just Airwolf. Do you remember that show, Joe?
No, but he's in the air the whole time.
Yeah, Airwolf is a show about a guy who has a helicopter, and he goes on an adventure every week where his helicopter helps save the day. That's basically what he's doing. Except later on, he gets a plane and then a boat.
Have you ever seen the show Emergency?
No.
My grandma watches it all the time, and I'm like, why do you watch this? Because it's literally just people rescuing other people. It's there's not much drama with it. It's just the drama is in how are we going to save this person, and then they just do
they save them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's just 1 hour long episode. I'm like, do you just like seeing people getting saved? There's the tension is is they're going to save them, but I don't know who these people are. I don't care. I don't know. I don't.
Okay.
These shows.
Yeah.
Do you know who wrote this movie, though?
No, I have no idea who wrote this movie.
Carlton Cuse.
Of Lost fame?
Yes.
He can do better.
He can do way better, but you know what? Maybe he can't, because maybe that show was all Lindelof. Because
Lindelof has gone on to have a very impressive post-Lost career.
Absolutely, because I've got. Let me tell you, I've got Carlton Cuse credits right here.
Didn't he also do 2012? Is this just his milieu?
Do 2012? I hope not. I just fuck. Let me tell you, he did do 2012, but I mean he's got a couple of TV show credits before Lost. So he did Nash Bridges. He was the creator of Nash Bridges. Wow,
very different show.
Yeah, he's got Lost, but then he's got Bates Motel.
Okay, well, that one's an all right show.
I watched 1 or 2 seasons of that. I did not like it. I don't know why I watched it. I think I was just bored and I was lonely, so I watched it. The Strain, he wrote some episodes of that. Yeah. That's that.
Yeah, I
vampire
remember
show.
that one. Yeah.
He's got another Rock movie in like the canon that we'll talk about later on.
Okay, fun.
He's got this Colony show, Lock and Key, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan. That's the Amazon show.
Yeah. None of those real home runs.
Yeah,
Nah.
really, just nothing.
I mean, like we can't discredit him though. This movie made like $200 million in profit.
I don't think it's because of the screenplay.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't matter. Hollywood's not being like, well, The Rock is who we should pay. Everybody else who made this movie sucks. They just say like, oh, your last movie was a hit.
Do you think people were like? Do you think there were some Paul Giamatti heads that were going to see this? That were just like, oh, fuck The Rock. I'm going to see it because I know Giamatti's the guy, the scientist that everyone's gonna be like, you gotta listen to him. Listen to the scientist. And Paul Giamatti's like, you can't go past the fault line. The fault line is in the Los Angeles. I like Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, remember that summer we kept seeing him like try to take advantage of young musicians?
Yeah, Love
and Mercy and Straight Outta Compton in the same block of time. It was crazy.
2 months of each other.
Yeah.
He's playing like terrible character.
I didn't know Paul Giamatti was going to be in this film. I was excited when he was in the film, and then he was really not in the film, and also wasn't necessary for the film. And at some point, he was just like, "Oh, they should have listened to me. We told everybody." And I thought, when? I saw you tell nobody. You've been hanging out in the room. Like, yeah, did you do this movie because like you could have one set at the Hoover Dam and then another day here, and like that was it for the whole movie for you?
I wish they did something else with them. I wish him and The Rock actually met. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, I'm like I was like, oh, that'll be interesting when they get to meet up and he has to tell The Rock like, listen, you got to warn everybody. But like at that point, it was too late to warn people. Earthquakes kept happening. So to which I think, like, he's really just the thing to be like, hey, guys, earthquakes are going to keep coming. He's just the guy explaining things to us so we understand what The Rock has to go through. He actually seems pretty safe in his Caltech laboratory and then like he gives news media reports and then like I guess he's a hero because he warned everybody even though it didn't look like a lot of people got saved because of it.
Yeah, let me tell you, I think the best version of this whole thing where like the scientists are telling people that something bad's happening, and it's not, I know it's not a very good movie, but I remember liking it when it came out. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal and Dennis Quaid. It's the father trying to get to the son in The Day After Tomorrow. I know. I haven't watched it since it came out, but I remember being like, damn, this movie rocks.
I watched that movie an unfortunate amount of times. The Zoetrope Theater we used to have, Joe.
I thought.
Yeah, but like that enabled people to just gonna go see it willy-nilly, right? So like, and then my thought is like, well, this group of friends now wants to go see it. The tickets are only $4. I might as well just go.
In the afternoon, $4 in the evening.
I saw that movie like 3 times. That is barely a one-time movie. I saw it 3 times. I will never see it again. Just spite.
I gotta watch it again. I gotta see how it holds up.
I mean, it's fine because like it doesn't sidetrack you with the scientist nonsense. There is a lot of CG stuff, but I don't know, whatever.
Remember when they have to outrun the cold?
Yeah, Joe, I do.
That's fun. They didn't have a scene like where they have to outrun the earthquake in this, did they? Were they outrunning an earthquake at some point?
Yeah.
Like they have to move to the other side of.
Yeah, Joe. I don't know. And Dennis Quaid loses a lot of people trying to rescue one person. It feels like it was not a good profit for him.
And they're surviving in a library.
Yeah,
in
New York or something. Yeah, like a big tidal wave is like coming through. They have to hide indoors. I don't recommend this movie, but I was thinking about it a lot during this movie. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about Dante's Peak. I was thinking about Volcano.
Volcano rocks. That's a good one. I'm never gonna forget because I saw the movie when it came out. Yeah. Also way too young because someone dies by trying to save someone off it. The guy in the train is like trying to bring the person like off of the lava, but the lava's like right underneath them, and he has to jump and he doesn't make it. And he's like, "Here, go!" He's like trying to throw the body.
It's probably the most memorable scene in the movie because he just slowly disappears into the lava.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I don't know if he was just going to throw her anyway, just throw her off the train and then you jump.
Yeah.
There are smarter ways to do that.
Do you remember how they like detoured the lava? They detoured lava. They had some they're like, oh, these brick, like not the bricks, but like these buildings, if we like break them down, you blow it up, this will stop the lava. Doesn't stop the building. They go right through it. It's too hot. Even my 8-year-old brain was like, huh?
I think that movie also has somebody falling down a crevasse that suddenly opens up.
Oh yeah, right at the beginning.
They're very popular in disaster movies. Then there was also, all those Twister movies that I had mentioned last week. Those were all big disaster kind of movies. Yeah, Hollywood loves disasters.
Yeah.
I kind of count The Birds in that camp.
Mm-hmm.
As disaster films. Yeah.
Poseidon Adventure with Gene Hackman.
Poseidon Adventure, Towering Inferno, and then the inevitable remakes. Yeah. No, Poseidon Adventure also has Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's, all better movies than San Andreas. Fun fact, Joe, I almost saw San Andreas when it came out in theaters. Do you want to know why?
Because it was 2015. You were seeing a lot of movies still?
No, because I wouldn't have picked that one. No, because in the trailer, there is like a half a second look at this news reporter character. Mm-hmm. She, Archie Panjabi, very notable The Good Wife alum. And I thought, do I want to sit through this movie to see her? That's not a bet I'm willing to take. And I'm glad I didn't, because she's not only is she barely in the movie, she's not, just like Paul Giamatti, not at all needed in the movie.
This movie could have been 97 minutes, and I would have been much happier with it.
I was so annoyed when I put up the running time, and it was like 2 hours. This doesn't need that.
I can tell you, Hollywood, because I got some things for Hollywood. I got a Hollywood corner. Make your movie shorter. We don't need the fluff in the middle. It doesn't do anyone any good. And plus, if you make your movie shorter, you can have more showtimes in the theater. More money.
Yeah, right? Like, they're always complaining about movies being too long, but they make their movies too long. We know you guys have the final cut. We're not stupid.
I'm not into it anymore.
No. Most of it, I don't like when you have these plot-based movies. Usually your plot can't carry us that far. It's not terribly interesting. Especially this movie's really annoying because you have the 2 major earthquakes, and then the big tidal wave, and then the natural disaster's over. But we still have 35 minutes of film. I kept waiting for a big climactic final thing, and all it really is just the building kind of gets destroyed. I'm already checked out. If you got no natural disasters coming at me in the third act of your natural disaster movie, I'm not into it. Get me out of here.
All right, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
We've seen this director before.
Oh, really?
He's one of our least favorite movies, too, on this season.
What was our least favorite movie?
Journey 2.
Oh, yes.
And you know what? We ain't done with this guy. We're seeing him again.
No, The Rock, why?
He loves him. Brad Payton.
Journey 2.
Kind of hole if I could.
I was thinking about that yesterday, just how dumb a movie that is. Journey 2.
The bee scene, I remember the bee scene. That's the only thing I took from that.
Yeah, every time I think when it looks like The Rock might be in a 3D movie, I just think of berries jumping off of The Rock's pecs. And I go we don't need any of this.
You know what? I didn't mind that scene. I'll take it back. I like that.
Jesus, Joe, I lost you.
It's entertaining. I don't care.
It's not anything entertaining. You are high, good sir.
No. Berries and pecs, because he did the dancing pecs. I remember that trailer, and I was like, I'm not seeing that.
And then we saw it. The joke's on us.
The joke is on us, for sure.
At least we didn't have to pay for it, though, right? That was an HBO Max one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, Joe. I'm very tempted by this Wong Kar-wai box set.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to pre-order that very soon.
Have they shown us the packaging of it? I love the Godzilla thing I have, but it's really hard to store because it's a big giant book that's bigger than my shelves. What is the Wong Kar-wai packaging easily storable?
I believe it's the same thing. I have that same problem with my Ingmar Bergman set.
Yeah, it's like a big book thing.
Fucking giant case, and it's got 30 something movies in it though.
Yeah, but if it were I don't know, if it were 10 inches tall, I could do that. But the Godzilla book is I don't know, it's probably 2 feet. It just won't fit on any shelf I have. But if I have a whole series of these hard to store box set. Maybe I'll get a special shelf that they can live on.
Yeah, I want this so badly. I told you, blind buy. I haven't seen any of them, and I'm very excited to finally dive in.
I think I've seen half of them, and the other half have been on my list forever. Like, they're all great films.
I'm sending you it right now.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. That actually seems reasonable.
I hope so. It's only 7.
That seems like a good size, I think. I could fit that somewhere.
I wish it was like my, I have a set that's all like the early Nicholson movies with Easy Rider and everything.
Yeah.
Very nice. And
yeah, something like that is what I would dream for.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Okay. Well, that gives me some hope.
Yeah. So yeah, San Andreas. What do you think of The Rock in it? Do you like him at all?
Yeah, so what I didn't... One thing I'll give the director credit for before I go into The Rock is for a lot of maybe the first 40 minutes, they actually do a really good job of, like, limiting perspective. They're not sort of focused on giving us these kind of grand sweeping things. Like, they follow a character going through the disaster, and they stay pretty tight on them. And sort of like a middle shot, kind of cowboy kind of shot. And so, like, we're left, and, like, whenever they look, the camera will look too. So there actually was some kind of good directing applied here at the beginning as these characters are coming to terms with, like, what the hell's happening to them. That was pretty interesting. It largely gets abandoned once The Rock kind of rescues his wife with the helicopter, Airwolf style. You know, I'll take some of that credit back, but there was effort put into the beginning that I think was helpful. And then they lost steam there. As for The Rock, I've seen him in with a lot of these generic roles, which this one is. Struggle a lot more with them. He's finally seemed to have found a level of effortlessness to it. What he's doing isn't brilliant. It isn't groundbreaking. But what it is, you know, adept. It's functional. He's not in the moment. It's just the moment. He doesn't have to make a lot of interesting choices, unlike Pain and Gain, technically Southland Tales, but I don't think he's great there either, but at least he's trying something different. Here, he's doing pretty much what you expect, but he's doing it fine. So, like, he seemed to have finally found his comfort area. He's sort of okay now being on script. He doesn't have to kind of affect so strongly. They're just like, yeah, The Rock, they just want to see your face, so go and be yourself.
I agree. He's passable. It's fine. Not showing up any muscles, really. He's just everyday guy. He's just doing his fucking Dwayne thing. Okay. And I got to mention this to you. We talked about the Young Rock show for NBC coming out soon.
Yeah.
Like February. Are we gonna have to fucking watch this? Are we into this yet?
You know, I've been asked that a lot by regular listeners of the cast. And it's come up in some of our emails at whathappedtothemcast@gmail.com. I think we should at least watch the pilot, right? Because we kind of did this with the Kevin James show when the episode Adam Sandler was on, where we like vaguely talked about it in the middle of a real episode. So, like, let's at least watch the pilot.
Can I tell you something, though?
What?
That I found out?
What?
He is in every episode.
But, like, as the narrator? Like what Jim Parsons does with Young Sheldon?
That's what he does?
Yeah, he's just narrating. He's like looking back on his life and be like, when I was a young boy in Texas, blah, blah, blah. It's like the Wonder Years.
I believe he's actually in it, which is insane that this guy can be in another television show.
Well, he's not on Ballers anymore, is he?
No, he finished Ballers, but like he still has like a full-time acting career as a movie star. It's like he hasn't slowed down. He's making that Netflix movie right now. I think it's coming out this year with Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds. And they wrapped up Jungle Cruise. He's in Black Adam this year as well. He's
got a lot of things coming out.
Crap. Ooh, we got a double feature for the next 2 weeks that I am in love with. All right, I'm excited. I was just making sure.
We're already talking about next week?
Yeah, because I haven't watched the movie in a little while, but I remember when I watched this. I've seen it like 2 or 3 times now. I loved it.
What's the movie?
Central Intelligence. His first Hart team.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't like Kevin Hart? I don't like him either.
No.
But boy, oh boy, do they have magic together somehow.
I am not looking forward to this, but we'll get through it.
It's really goofy. I think that's what I like the most about it. Yeah. It's very goofy, and it seems to have some heart in it. And I hope I still like it as much as I did when I first saw it.
Let's talk about the beginning of this film, Joe.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Right. So we open up on nobody important. We open up on some young blonde lady, and she's driving. and she's
it's really nuts.
she's a horrible teen driver.
Yeah,
she has one incident where she looks behind her to grab like a bottle of water as she's driving on this treacherous cliffside road. A car comes by, you're like, you're in a crash. And then like another one is she's texting on the phone and it looks like a car is going to hit her, but then she's fine there. And then some rocks fall and knock her off the edge. But don't worry, The Rock comes and rescues her. That's sort of our teaser for the film to let us know The Rock is a good guy at rescuing people.
Yeah, the rocks almost kill her, but The Rock will save her.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Good work, Joe. But what annoys me is she has learned nothing from this experience. She's a terrible teen driver, as they all are, and yet has legitimate claim to be like, well, it wasn't my fault. These rocks came out of nowhere, which is technically true. But she forgets that she narrowly averted death 2 times earlier in this movie. But she's learned nothing from the experience. She's just like, I got to be careful about rocks. But she's still like, yeah, I can turn around and text all the livelong day.
I was hoping we'd talk about this. Yeah, it's crazy.
It annoys me. She died. She got away with it. And I'm annoyed there wasn't more Archie Panjabi in this movie. Why'd you cast her? Why do you even need her? Paul Giamatti got his own cameras like linked up anyway. He could have just contacted the news agencies.
Yeah, I wish Paul Giamatti just like hijacked a news station and was just like, listen, I'm a scientist. You got to listen to me. We're in danger. And he just like have a little bit of comedic relief there. Yeah,
you gotta let him be like crazy, and he's like, he hijacks the station and he just talks about wine all the time. Like that's what he's got to do.
Yeah, he just gets drunk. He's like, we're all gonna die. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm ready. We're punching up this movie so much better right now.
I mean, basically just take his monologue from Sideways and put it in this movie. But instead of about sort of grapes, it's about rocks and plates.
Exactly. There you go. Wow, so good.
See, the San Andreas Fault. It's a tough plate. It can be rough around the edges, but if you let it expand and grow, it can be indicative of marvelous changes ahead. Like something like that. Like there you go.
Yeah. And then he compares it to like his belly and his marriage that's failing.
This is another movie. Look, Joe, just like in Volcano, this is a movie where a guy tried to rescue somebody, couldn't do it, and then threw them to safety. I think Paul Giamatti could have worked a little harder to like grab his hand and drag him to safety. Yeah. They weren't that far apart. You know?
What was that? I never can pronounce this guy's name, but like the dickhead, like new husband of Carla Gugino.
Yeah, I don't know what the actor name was. And that was interesting because they start the movie off and, I'm trained by Hollywood to be like, oh, this guy's rich and he's not the main character, so he's probably an asshole. But like, he's actually kind of like an average or a nice dude for most of the time he's in the movie.
Until he like abandons his step.
Until suddenly, out of nowhere, he's like, fuck it, I'm all for me. And I'm just like, where did this come from? I'm just supposed to assume this is in your character because you're rich. You wanted your new girlfriend to meet your sister, and to get that awkwardness out of the way, and you were worried about her because you knew your sister was kind of a B word. You wanted to bond with your girlfriend's daughter by going on this plane ride with her and like have this like impassioned speech about buildings, and sort of there's like a mild tinge of regret that like you weren't able to have children of your own. I don't know, like all of that seems like an interesting look at this sort of what could have been a very stock character, and then 25 minutes into the movie you became the stock character anyway. So why did we bother with all this thing in the beginning? Yeah, it seems very lazy because like they're just like pretty much driving back The Rock and Carla Gugino back together. I'm like, but you had him like, so yeah, they were divorced. They're like, are they working on a divorce? He hasn't like signed the papers yet or whatever. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, like they really want us to know they're divorced, which but then you find out they're not fully divorced yet, so you're like, oh, well, you're just going to get back together, as always happens in these movies. But I'm like, oh, but this guy's actually kind of nice, though. He's not a dickhead. I'm like, well, this is a disaster movie. He might die, early on in this movie. And he does die, but like, no, they just decide to have him be a dick. And so she realizes she loves The Rock a lot more, because I guess he wouldn't talk about them losing their other daughter or something.
And that came so out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then you only really get 2 scenes afterwards of him being a dick. One where he like pushes a guy out of the way to save himself, and then another one where he's just like walking along a bridge and then a crate kills him, so that we know he's actually dead instead of just being swept up by a tidal wave. And then they're like, "Oh, is he still out there? Did he survive?" Like there was really no need for him, and the movie sort of realized it. But they're like, "Shit, well now we got to deal with this plot string." I don't know. Why can't he just die in the limo? Whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They killed the driver.
Yeah, you killed the driver. You didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, they should have crushed. Or like when he like gets out and he like is talking to the security guy, just try to save his stepdaughter or whatever, and the rock just comes down and crushes the security guy. And I'm just like, okay, why couldn't it just crush him then?
Yeah, I don't, or just be consistent and like maybe like he brings her on the plane, but he's like a dick or something to her. Like he's just ignoring her the whole time because he's on business. Like there are ways you could have seeded his abrupt heel turn. What I would have been like, yeah, I would have been annoyed because like it's this old trope again. But you brought me to this old trope anyway, but you didn't earn it this time, so you got to fix that movie. I also thought the beginning of this movie was the ending of Titanic. Did you think that, Joe? Yeah, the beginning, like we watch like a necklace like descend into the sea.
Oh yeah,
and I'm just like, oh, we just picking up what Titanic left off. That's an odd place to begin.
Yeah, no, I just saw the cinema score on this. Guess what the cinema score was on this movie?
I don't. 13. Is that an appropriate score for cinema score? I don't know.
8F scale.
What?
An A to F scale for cinema.
Okay. D.
And it got an A minus. This movie was loved by the people.
By the people?
Yeah, The Rock's people.
Idiots.
He loves the people. The people love The Rock. He's the people's champion.
Yeah. Okay.
Back to wrestling. No, a big part about that Little Rock show. Is it called The Little Rock?
I would you call Little Rock? I think it's just Young Rock. I think
it's Young Rock.
That's just the new model now. When you want to do a young version of something, it's just Young Rock. Yeah, I like Little Rock though, or like what was that? Muppet Babies, like Rock Babies.
Oh yeah,
it's just the Rock in a diaper.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
I've watched that in a heartbeat. But he has to like have the eyebrow and everything, and he's got to have like the sideburns.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. I have a fun story for us today, Joe.
Okay.
I got to meet with the man who designed the poster for Gridiron Gang.
Oh.
And I asked, and he had asked me to ask him about sort of his poster designs because I was like picking his brain. And, you know, he did other famous posters. He did like the Lord of the Rings and like other like big famous deal movies. But I looked and I'd like, tell me about Gridiron Gang. And he's like, what? And then he had to look back at the poster to remind himself of it because he had just forgotten about it, which makes sense. Poster is just sort of like The Rock's face, like a lot of white space around him. And then like inside of The Rock, there's like a vignette of like 2 people playing football and they're like high-fiving. So I asked him about that. And he said, this is the type of posters that I hate to design because contractually The Rock has to appear, The Rock's face has to be half of the movie poster.
Wow.
The Rock has signed it into his contract that whatever promotional art is, he is half of it. And so to do that, they actually had to bring The Rock in to do the photo shoot to make sure they had a good high resolution of his face. They then had to touch it up and then put the vignette. So that was sort of a fun fact I got to find out this week about kind of how that happens.
Have you seen the poster for this one?
No, what is it? Is it like the side of The Rock's face, like in the helicopter looking down at disaster? Is that the poster? Yep. Yeah, I do remember that.
Looking sideways.
Oh yeah, you sent it to me. Let's see. Yeah. Yep. This all looks familiar. I remember seeing this in theaters. Yeah,
the Lord of the Rings posters. Those fucking rock, though. Those are great.
He also had a long story about Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion poster, which he also did. It was like the first thing he did.
That's a cool poster too. That gets to the point.
Yeah, he had to actually photo shoot them. There was a day scheduled in the movie production to shoot this poster, but Lisa Kudrow was super like nervous about it, and like she wasn't able to believably smile because she was just so like I don't know, she wasn't comfortable for some reason with doing it. So and I don't recommend this to everyone here. This is what they did in 1997 or whenever the movie came out. They're like, okay, let's take a break, and then there just happened to be in the break room a lot of alcoholic beverages, of which the 2 actresses partook, and so when they came back out, they were a little more tipsy. and a little more relaxed.
That's good. Well, yeah, but that's a very memorable poster. I know exactly what that poster looks like.
So speaking of, this San Andreas poster, we open up and Archie Punjabi's in the helicopter getting sort of the details about how helicopter rescues work, which we don't need, so I don't know why they bothered with that. And we get to meet The Rock's whole team, which we'll never see again. So I don't know why they bothered with that. But then eventually, The Rock finally gets to say something, and he turns around, and there's like a lens flare. Light is flooding the camera as The Rock says, "It's just my job, ma'am." And you're just like, this fucking movie, so fucking stupid. And then it ends, and they're like, what are we gonna do next after they're all saved and rescued? And then like an American flag somehow unfolds on the Golden Gate Bridge. Big French horns come in, and The Rock goes, "We'll rebuild." And you're like, shut the fuck up, movie. You dumb, stupid fucking movie.
It's just played out.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man did it like
worthless. Worthless. Yeah, Spider-Man annoyingly, like New York pulls together because they got to help Spidey. That's not the New York I know.
No. That was right after 9/11, so it was done for a definite reason. Definitive reason.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was needed, and that was necessary. And they didn't do the same thing in the second one. So like they were just like, we're doing this because Spider-Man is a New York character, so it made sense. I like that Spider-Man movie. No one likes them now, I guess. The Sam Raimi ones. Is that a thing?
I think they're fine. If you don't like them, I don't know what your problem is.
I think they're
They're just enchanted by the Marvel ones, I guess.
I think they're the best versions of the Spider-Man character that's been put on film.
So that I don't know. I think I actually like the Marvel-ish Spider-Man more, but I like everything else about those. Yeah, I'll say first two, not first three movies. Yeah. I think they're sort of better directed. I think they're a little more interesting. They're less formulaic. They have a touch more personality to them. But this is just like sort of The Rock versus Dave Bautista kind of thing. We're really just splitting hairs here. They're all six of these Spider-Man movies, they're all basically the same.
Is there only six? I feel like there's a million of them.
It's 3, 2, and 2. Seven. So 7. And I'm not counting the cartoon, which is something very different, and I think very interesting, even though I don't think I get it.
Oh, you've seen it? I didn't know you saw Spider-Verse.
Yeah, so like that was the thing. It was like as I was getting ready to finish off that Oscar year, I was like, all right, I have time for either the Spider-Verse movie or the Green Book movie. I think I'll see the Spider-Verse. I don't think Green Book's going to win. There's egg on my face. Though Spider-Verse did win too, so, it wasn't a complete poor choice.
Spider-Verse is so good, and they're making a sequel, and you know what's happening to that sequel? It's going directly to Netflix.
Weird.
Burn the cinemas down. They're saying, burn the cinemas down. And I'm like, wait, I'm inside. Please don't.
Now, theaters will be fine, Joe, especially now that movie studios can own them again. I think they'll be back with a vengeance.
I really hope so. I need theaters.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can watch movies in one sitting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I miss that.
I bet, Joe. You're going to have a tough time getting through some of those Wong Kar-wai movies if you can't do it in a sitting.
Oh, no. That is going to be reserved for everyone's asleep, and then I go downstairs and I put it in the living room.
Yeah.
That's my time.
Speaking of Wong Kar-wai, California Dreaming shows up at the end of this movie. California Dreaming's in so many movies I've been watching recently. What is up with this song? Why is it following me around?
I can't explain that, but it is a definitely like overplayed song. Yeah. Just because you're a movie set in California and you're just trying to bring hope.
It's like during the credits, I'm like, you could have had any song be here. Why is it this one? And it's this weird kind of like James Bond version of it. I don't know. But yeah, very prominent in Wong Kar-wai's one of his films. So that's why I guess I was thinking of it.
That's interesting.
And then two more films in the last couple months I'd been watching had it in there too. And I'm just like, get out of here, song. Give me some time. Yeah. I mean, that's it. Those are my notes on San Andreas. I don't give a shit about this movie. It wasn't terrible, but I don't care. And I'm just surprised. I don't know why you would see this trailer and be like, I got to see that. I can't fathom that. If you guys saw the trailer and wanted to see this movie and it wasn't just about seeing The Rock do rock stuff, please write us at whathappentotthemcast@gmail.com so I can just understand what's going on with the average moviegoer.
Let me ask you one thing though before we wrap up. Have you heard of 4DX? Have you seen anything in 4DX? Have you heard about this?
No. What does that even mean?
3D? So it's more than 3D. It's 4D.
What? How many time? That's what movies are. They're only time.
Okay, so I can only like say from like what I've heard the experience is like, but it's like a bigger chair that you're sitting in, and the chair moves around, and it blows, like when there's like smoke in the movie, there's smoke blown at you. When there's like water in the movie, there's like mist sprayed at you. It's supposed to give you more of like you're in the movie feeling.
Oh, I would not want that.
Yeah,
no.
And like apparently, like they give you like the smell of what's going on in the movie, and I'm like, what if it smells bad?
You know what's a great way to get me into the movie? Make a good fucking movie. It's that simple. Movies have been doing it since the silent days. We didn't even need sound or color to get into these movies. We just did because they were well made. And I'm tired of all these gimmicks. And this is sort of a big fight I get in with when people want movies to be VR. And VR can do great things, but like we shouldn't expect them to be movies. VR has to be its own thing, much like film isn't a play. When people want their VR movies so they can be more engaged, I say all this does, the 3D, the VR, the 4D apparently, all it does is prop up shitty movies and make them, and we like care more because like we were in it. But like you didn't need that all the time. So all you're really helping is bad movies stay bad and keep being made and rise to the top over well-made, more individualized, and personal stories told from interesting and diverse voices. That's what you're killing when you embrace these technologies.
I'm going to say you can embrace the technology if you have the auteur who's actually like going to use it to make the story, use it with the story and not just use it as like a gimmick, like you're saying. I
have only seen one person use 3D stylistically, and that person, sir, was Jean-Luc Godard.
No.
In a movie called A Farewell to Language, where he uses the 3D to kind of show the breaking apart of a marriage. And he doesn't even really utilize the 3D in the way we think of it. He's more focused on the stereoscopic camera setup and will sort of kind of push apart and push together the two cameras to help you show this kind of marriage falling apart. Genius. Huh. Yeah. But nobody would ever use it that way because it's disorienting. But that's what he wants you to feel, so it's a smart thing to do. Let's not encourage bad movies to be successful. They're already too successful. Let's be a little more open to other things kind of getting through the gatekeepers in Hollywood.
So I'll just tell you, because of all these rock movies we've been watching and how I just have lost complete interest, and like when I'm turning on, I'm like, here we go again. Yeah. I've actually turned my attention to like older cinema. I told you, I'm Walter Matthau movies.
Apparently, yeah.
Jimmy Stewart, Gene Hackman. I've been stuck in the 70s for a little while, and I'm like, this is delicious.
70s, good decade for movies, though, Joe. Not a bad place to be stuck.
Like I told you, I watched The Conversation like 2 weeks ago.
I know. I'm so happy you finally saw that movie.
Finally watched it. One of them, like, wow. Just
Love
like
it. Love that movie. Genius.
Yeah.
If only it weren't up against the other Coppola film that year, Godfather Part 2 for Oscar. That is quite. That is quite a year. That is on par with Spielberg's Schindler's List Jurassic Park year.
But do you remember what the other movies were that year that there were the Oscar race?
I forget the other two, but that year was stacked.
The 49th Academy Awards was All the President's Men.
Yeah.
Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Rocky won that year. Network was in the 76 too.
Yeah. The point is 70s had some, both in America and around the world, sort of a great time for cinema. We're coming out of the like bucking of the usual studio trends. Cameras are a little more portable at this time, so you're really getting some Cassavetes was like hitting his stride at this point. You really get some great stuff coming out of that decade.
The Conversation was nominated for Best Picture alongside The Godfather Part 2, Chinatown, Lenny. Do you know Lenny?
That one I don't know.
I'll have to check that one out because Dustin Hoffman, Bob Fosse. Okay, but this is just lining up with what we're doing though. The other movie that was nominated for Best Picture alongside The Godfather Part 2, Chinatown, Conversation, Lenny, The Towering Inferno.
Yeah, what an odd choice. What a movie that does not fit in with the rest of that group.
I guess. Wow. Okay. Well, stacked cast. Steve McQueen, Paul Newman.
Yes. Big. It was their big. Yeah. That was their blockbuster of that time. Before blockbusters were a thing. Like that was it.
Do you know the running time For the Towering Inferno?
I bet you it is 2 hours and 17 minutes. More?
165 minutes. This movie's almost 3
hours. It's Cleopatra, but in a giant burning building.
203 million in 1974.
And yet, I bet each of the characters in that movie has more of a backstory than the ones in the movie we just saw.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it now.
Right? If your movie's 3 hours long, like each of those people has a story to tell.
I've never seen it. I just can't believe that's nominated alongside his other movies, though.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I guess that came before the Poseidon Adventure, right?
No, I don't think so. I think it came out like the year after. Or maybe it was even the same year. Like they were like back to back. They were basically the same movie.
Yeah, 72. Yeah, it was 2 years before. Okay,
yeah, there you go. Yes.
Same date. They came out with the exact same date.
So they were like, all right, we like the Poseidon Adventure. It's a big successful movie. What if we do that but on land? And now you have the Towering Inferno.
Yeah, excellent.
Classic Hollywood strategy.
Yeah. All right. Last look.
Last looks here, Joe. The Rock, finding his zone, or at least finding comfortability in doing what he needs to get through these roles. It's not sort of painful to watch anymore. He's not sort of awkward on the camera. He's comfortable now with a lens in his face. He certainly does like to mug for the camera.
Yeah, it only took 15 years.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're thinking he's decent. You found a few that you've liked, though, because we're kind of winding down now. We only have a few more. We got a month or two left?
I think there's been like two that I have enjoyed watching. These Fast and the Furious ones are sort of fine.
Yeah. Well, you saw the... Oh, yeah. I want to just mention a couple things about Furious 7.
Yeah.
Like I said, The Rock... I was going to say The Rock's barely in it.
Yeah, I know.
10 minutes total, but... I'm telling you, I loved when he sat up from that hospital bed and he's just like, Daddy's got to go to work, and he breaks that fucking cast off.
Yep.
That's just incredible.
There you go. Classic Rock move.
I liked when you guys mentioned that last week. So good. Very sad about Paul Walker, though. Gone too soon. That little tribute they do at the end, like when he goes off in his car, and I know it's a CGI person, but it hit me pretty hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not even really attached to these movies too much. I like watching them, but I'm not like, I'm the biggest Fast and Furious fan. Like, I like they're good for me, at least. And but like, yeah, it gets me every time. It's kind of sad. I think it's very well handled at the end with the little tribute they do for him. So I enjoyed that one. I did not enjoy this week's.
Very reasonable. Joe, would you like to take a break to a new segment that we'll have on this show?
Oh, hell yeah. Bring it on.
Time to go to Sandler Watch. Sandler Watch. So I stumbled across this article from a fashion blog, Input, and here's the headline: Adam Sandler hates fashion, which makes him a pandemic-style icon, or Quarren King, if you will.
Ooh, I love it.
And it's a very long article, but the summary is just like, it sort of goes over Adam Sandler's traditional fashion style, and they mentioned that he's in the same tax bracket as Jeff Bezos, but always likes to walk around either in basketball shorts or track pants with a graphic tee and like slippers. And that's what he likes to do, and they say that it sort of makes him kind of very relatable just in general. But during a pandemic time where people are just kind of being at home clothes more often and sweatpants and stuff, and just kind of running out real quick to the grocery store in that outfit, they feel like more relaxed and relatable, and like he's sort of setting up these fashion trends. I don't know how true that is per se. It just might be like Adam Sandler doesn't care what he looks like. And there's like a picture of him for Hotel Transylvania 2 premiere, and it's like him next to Selena Gomez, and Selena Gomez is in like this really nice fancy red dress and high heels and like a lot of makeup, and Adam Sandler's hair is barely done. He's got like a white t-shirt on that's like faded and a little yellow, and then like sweatpants and sneakers, and like they're on the red carpet together in front of a limo.
Well, he's probably like, this is how I showed up to the studio to record my voice, so it's like, I'm gonna be here.
Yeah, but he's saying now there's like this fashion blog is talking about, unlike Kendall Jenner and Timothée Chalamet, these people that are like trying to be trendsetters, they have to like change their look every couple of months. But Adam Sandler, the advantage that his look is like always there, and it's consistent, and it will last longer, so it's a lot better to kind of invest in. Sandler's film fashion resonates with current hipsters and comfort seekers alike. That is sort of a quote from the article.
It's excellent. I agree completely.
Here's sort of another quote. I think men's fashion is very mid-'90s right now, and Billy Madison fits into that timeline very well. Adam Sandler has worn way too big gym shorts, so now the rest of us can wear a slightly more normal-sized one and seem reasonable in comparison. Sandler is slowly helping the male fashion spectrum make comfort more mainstream, one pair of shorts at a time. And that's pretty much the whole gist of the article.
That's great. I mean, I feel like we should be more presentable, but I'm not a billionaire, so I'm not going to
so Adam Sandler's not a billionaire yet. He's a half of a billionaire. He's almost there. But like I love that he doesn't give a like he still hangs out with the extras. He wears whatever he fucking feels like wearing. The clothes he probably grew up wearing, 20 years ago. Like it's I don't know him personally, but it just feels like money hasn't changed him all that much.
Yeah, no. When he was like 15 feet away from me at the Uncut Gems like premiere in Boston, I was like so excited, and he's just dressed so casual.
Yeah.
Like they kind of all worked. It was like a later show at night, but like, man, oh man, I was just like, he's never going to change, and I love that.
Yeah, like that's so refreshing that he's just sort of this grounded celebrity that generally is a nice dude despite his immense success.
Yeah.
So there you go. Just a guy who likes hanging out with friends. Well, that's Sandler Watch for this week. And that will sort of wrap up our episode. So let's thank our sponsor, Bricks. If you haven't used Bricks yet, give them a shot. See how they work. Even in Lego form, they are fun. Well, of course, let's thank our audio maven, Lev Van Rensselaer, for minding those dials and knobs and keeping us sounding so slippery smooth. And of course, let's thank Joe Vekeman for coming by this week. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
And I am your host, Patrick Scale. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and presumably social media with a similar sounding name. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night. No, I need to start exercising again. I've been slacking. So I think that's what's going to do it. So made a plan with my wife. We're gonna start exercising. She's gonna do some yoga.
And you're gonna do some yoga?
I don't know about yoga. I'm gonna try. I can try that, but I'll just stick to my other exercises I usually do. I've just been so slacking because it's just the shitty weather, and I just feel kind of crummy. But I gotta get back into it.
If you do yoga, is it called Joga?
I wish. I wish they would name something after me.
Yeah.
What am I good for? Nothing.
Well, maybe Josephine Decker is named after you.
I think she's like a year or two older than me. So.
Ooh, well, that makes us feel terrible about ourselves, doesn't it?
Well, let me see. Did you see her last movie?
What was her last movie?
It's on Hulu. It's called Shirley. It's with, what's her name? Yeah. Oh, she's 39.
Okay. We got some time to catch up.
Yeah. But she's very accomplished and very,
we have a lot of catching up to do. I did not know she had a new movie. I'm excited. I'll go check that out sometime this week.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Yeah.
Just streaming with Elizabeth Moss.
Taylor. Oh, that makes more sense.
Oh, and Michael Stuhlbarg. Yeah, good cast.
Okay. It's no Michael Shannon, though.
I like Stuhlbarg. I'm a Stuhlbarg head.
Okay.
Is that what they call them?
That's what everybody's called him, Joe.
Okay.
Way to be hip to the know.
Head. Am I a Bergian? A Stuhlbergian?
A Spielbergian?
A Stuhlbergian.
Yeah, it's almost the same.
Last name right? I don't know.
A Heidelbergian?
Heidelberg? What?
Yeah, we're just talking nonsense at this point. Might as well go into the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
More nonsense.
Yeah.